Hey guys, it's been a while and I'm back with another haul video. I think the last one that I did is around 3 or 4 months ago. This is the reason why there are so many books who have piled up, but really I kind of reduced my spending quite a bit. So if you will check out the last haul video I did, it was more than those for just 6 weeks or so, and now it's like for, I don't know if it's 4 months, but at least three. And also some Christmas shopping in here. So yeah, I will go through those quick because I want to do just another video right afterwards, talking about my favorites of the past year. So yeah, let's kick it off. This is Providence by Alan Moore and Jason Burrows. It's a biography on a very famous horror writer called H.P. Lovecraft. You probably know him, and I don't think the art is something which is the main selling point for this book. It's decent. But it's obvious that this is selling on the writer's strength. And of course, there are a lot of people who enjoy comics who also read Lovecraft, so volume number one. This is called Nijigahara Holograph. It's a manga, a hardcover manga. I got it from eBay because it's not available anymore. You can't find it. It's sold out of print. And it's by Inio Asano. I've read some stuff by him, mainly Goodnight Pampan, which I liked really quite a bit. I read something different by him, which I didn't enjoy so much. So we will find out if this is the sweet spot in the middle, or if it's what I hope rather to the liking part. It's about a small town. I think it's about a small town where weird stuff happens, involving butterflies turning up. Yeah, it looks really nice in this hardcover edition, and it's a nice size for a manga. Normally they're very small. Oh, this is not new. I don't know how it landed here. Klaus. I read Klaus. I didn't enjoy it that much. I only bought it for, 7 euros because it has some serious things here. So yeah, it's the reimagination of Santa Claus. The build is a bit... it looks nice and everything. But it's very tight, so you can see the book doesn't really open well. And there are a lot of double pages in here, splash pages, which don't work as well. And also I really hate it when I have to use my force to do the reading. Well, the story is okay. It's like a fantasy reimagination of Klaus being the hero that saves a city under terror by a brutal dictator, and he comes back, I think he comes back. He's from the city, and saves everyone. A bit underwhelming for a Grant Morrison book, I have to say. It's okay, it's not a bad book, but it's just not the best that Grant Morrison can do. Thunderbolts. I got a few Thunderbolt books. More will be coming up later, I think, if they're in the stack, because I also have to say not everything is in the stack. I'm not as obsessed anymore with sorting stuff and whatever, so sometimes I just put them somewhere. Wild's End, I read the first 2 volumes of Wild's End, And I will be talking about this because I enjoyed them very much. I really, really dig them. By Dan Abnett, by the way. Dan Abnett, who's writing Aquaman right now for DC, and who's writing quite a lot of stuff. I was surprised to find out. Little Depressed Boy, I got volume 1 and 2. Here is volume 1. This is crossed. I got this for a fairly good price. It's not 18 like it was, €9. And it's the first volume. I read it back when it came out and enjoyed it. And yeah, I have a soft spot for the crossed for whatever reason. Those are some books of eBay. Impulse by Christopher Priest and Superman Last Son of Earth by Steve Gerber. Man Thing and Donald, not Donald the Duck, but what's his name? Howard the Duck. Fame. So he's a famous writer from the 70s, and I just have a phase of really enjoying 70s Marvel stuff and DC stuff too. So this wasn't collected until now, so you can only get it that way. It's Dark in London. It's let me move over here. I'm sorry. It's Dark in London is an anthology, and my girlfriend bought it for me. She was in London. It's really nice. Very different, very short stories by a few well-known people like Neil Gaiman and Dave McKean, Alan Moore. But most of them are pretty unknown. So it's a great way to sample stuff. And it's all, I've read a few and they were really nice. You know, it's always this thing with anthologies. Not everything will be up to your taste. But this was pretty, it really stood out that everything was at least good, if not really good. It's by Self-Made Hero. And yeah, it deals with London. It's short stories about London, the city. All right, let's continue. Ape Sapien, Volume 2. It's like the old series, the old miniseries. I wanted to get those because I really enjoyed some of the more recent run. The Witcher is a book by Paul Tobin. I really enjoyed Paul Tobin, what I've read of him. And well, this looks very much like a Mike Mignola book, or you know, like a Hellboy Mignola verse book, but it's not. It's actually some kind of game related book. Oh, move the camera a little bit like this, but whatever. I got it, so I'll hopefully read it. This is Dark Ages by my new favorite creators, Dan Abnett and I.N.G. Colbert, the same guys who did Wild's End, which I loved to pieces. And this is a book set in the Middle Ages, featuring monsters or dragons or something. I don't care because I digged Wild's End so much that I will completely trust those creators to wow me with their next offering. Black Widow by Wade and Simney. I'm not sure I've showed this before. However, I read it and I thought it looked nice. I mean, Chris and me is a great, yeah, he's a great penciler, and the coloring is also really, really nice, very moody and stylish, but the story is very, very simple, kind of predictable and boring. So I totally don't recommend to buy this. I know it was in a lot of best of lists and I absolutely don't get it because it's just average stuff drawn in a pretty nice way, but also, you know, drawings can't save a comic, and there is something about the art which is also predictable. I don't know how to put it better. It's like well crafted, but I mean, who does care about well crafted? You want to have like something amazing, and it's not amazing. Spider-Man's Tangled Web. So I ordered the first volume of the series, where it's a Spider-Man maxi series. I think it ran for 20 issues or so. So back in the day it was a very short run. Nowadays it's a normal one. And you know, it's famous writers doing their versions of Spider-Man, and it's supposed to be fun. And you get like Garth Ennis and Peter Milligan and guys like that who normally don't write superheroes or Spider-Man, doing superhero stories. And this is for me like a very good mix, because I do enjoy superheroes in theory, but I only enjoy them if they're written in a good way. So I can't buy a book just because character X is in it. I don't care about that. I really need to be entertained and not fed with some character. Whatever. The thing is, like, I ordered this, and really 12 hours later in the morning I read that they announced the Omnibus, but well. So if you need any Omnibus announcements to be made, suggest me which book to buy in softcover, so that it can happen. So this is World's End Volume 1. I will talk about World's End in, I know I say this all the time, but in an upcoming video. Carver Paris Story. I really wanted to read this before doing my best of the year, but I haven't managed. It's by Z2 Comics, and it looks really nice. Let me show you a little bit of the artwork, because it's cool. It's like, it reminds me very much of a book like Stray Bullets or so. It's not art that on the first look it's not spectacular, but it does character work, and it serves the story. And this is very, for me, a great trait of good art. The Empty by Jimmy Robinson, Volume 1. I don't think there ever was a Volume 2. And it's an adventure book, maybe post-apocalyptic, maybe not. Now that I look into it and look at the art, I think this might not be for me. Looks a bit fantasy-ish. And this kind of, you know, cutesy violence stuff, which I don't enjoy very much, but well, I got it off eBay, it was cheap. Okay, well, this is really all over the place here, I'm sorry. Let me sort it a little bit. So, American Nightmare by Mark Waid and Kurt Busiek. Okay, Hal Castle. So, it's a lot of people. This collects Captain America, the series from 1988, 8 to 13. They relaunched Captain America in 88. Can't remember them doing that. It's kind of weird. I think they mean 98. Whatever. So it's it was free. It was for free. It was a freebie with my order. I put an order with cheapcomics.com, and they always have like a free book, and this was a free book. So those go out of print right now really fast. It's the Valiant Masters books. They collect the first, mostly it's like the first 7 or 8 issues of the original runs from the 90s, and I like Valiant, and I really enjoyed Shadow Man back in the day, so I wanted to have it in hardcover before it becomes really expensive. And it was also a good price, so perfect mix. I totally dig those Tales of the Batman and Legends of the Dark Knight hardcover books DC is putting out right now for a few years already, but I just discovered them, and it's classic Batman in pretty tightly bound book, which is a bit hard to read because of that. But it's still okay, but yeah, it's not seam binding, it's glued binding. So it's okay for what it is, and I think for most of the stuff that is collected here, this is the definitive edition. And I also like the approach to collect stories based on the creators and not so much on the characters. So I don't have a special bond to Batman. I never read him as a kid. Of course I watched the old movies from the 80s and 90s, but that's it. So if I read stories with Batman, especially old ones, for me it's really about the art and the storytelling. And this looks really nice. Gene Colan, who was drawing Daredevil at Marvel and Tomb of Dracula, I think too. So he's a classic Marvel guy, and he's working his gothic magic on Batman, and it looks really, really nice. So yeah, I really want to collect all of those hardcover books. But right now I'm a bit tight on my comic budget, so we'll see about that. Those are two Wolverine books, current ones from Marvel Comics. One is All New Wolverine by Tom Taylor. The other one is Old Man Logan by Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino. And yeah, I haven't read both of them, so I can't tell you too much about it. But yeah, the art on Old Man Logan looks really nice. It's like the same team who did Green Arrow at DC for the New 52. So I guess if you dig those... Oh, look at this. An Archer. Is this Hawkeye or who is it? Yes, looks like Hawkeye. So I think if you dig Green Arrow, you will like Old Man Logan. And this is supposed to be a really fun superhero book by Tom Taylor, who did Injustice, and who looked like he was gonna become the next, hotshot comic writer superstar. But then not much happened. He wrote an Iron Man series, which I haven't read, and is now writing All New Wolverine, but I don't know anything else that he's on. But yeah, the feedback is pretty well on the net. Mystique by Brian K. Vaughan. So he wrote this maxi series, 13 issues, all collected in here. The art, well, I guess it's okay. It's not the art you buy this for. It's Brian K. Vaughan's talent for witty dialogues and soapy stories. And I'm a fan. I mean, don't get me wrong. I really enjoy Paper Girls and most stuff that he's writing. So I guess I will like this too. This is Moon Knight by Jeff Lemire. So I jumped on Moon Knight with issue 6, I think. And this is collecting the first arc. Yeah, I want to read everything that Lemire is writing on Moon Knight, because what I've read up until now is fantastic. Yeah, I told you Little Depressed Boy Volume 1 and 2. I got them for cheap, and yeah, I've heard good stuff about them, the series. So, and I think he's the guy who will be writing Iceman. Is it right? What's the name? Sina Grace, I think. Is the guy or a gal? I'm not sure. Well, whatever. I wanted to check it out for a while, so. This is volume 2 of the Inferno paperback collection. So, you know that there is an Omnibus out there, but it's out of print for a long time. And it's absolutely impossible to get for a decent amount of money. So I had to settle for the paperbacks, which is a pity because X-Men Inferno, or you know, the crossover over the X books, was the first major storyline that I read when I was a kid, that I read in English. So I got a few single issues from a flea market, and I read X-Men in German, but they were way behind, like 5 years or so. So when I got those original American single issues, I was blown away. Firstly, by the art, because I think this was, you know, the jump from early 80s to late 80s in the art is pretty strong. And this is almost like, you know, the 90s. You can see the 90s coming up. It's all like super slick, and it's, you know, when this whole 90s vibe started, it was really fresh, because before everything became like super exaggerated, it had like a very slick vibe to it, a bit flashy, you know, a bit abstract. This is Art Adams, I think. No, it's not. It's Walter Simonson. Look at this. It's really cool. It's good stuff. And I've reread some of the issues, and I thought they hold up pretty well. So yeah, I have a soft spot for Inferno. I don't know if it's any good, really, but I know that I will like it. Okay, this is JSA versus Cobra. I bought it because it was cheap. This is really the only reason. But look at this, the art is pretty nice. By Don Kramer. Never heard of this guy before. Very realistic stuff. It's you know, the faces especially really nice. And Power Girl's boobs are really big. Yeah, it's a fun little miniseries, and it was very cheap. Those are Greg Rucka books. Batman on Greg Rucka. No, Greg Rucka on Batman. I don't know if Batman wrote any Greg Rucka comics. I think it's the other way around. So yeah, I know it's being collected right now in new editions. So those are old paperbacks from, I guess, 2005 or so, and 2001 even. Wow. So those were like €5 each, or €6, and got them. A Superman book by John Byrne and Mike Mignola, The World of Krypton. I mean, it's Byrne and Mignola. It can't be that bad. And it's about Superman's home planet, Krypton, which since it was destroyed, there are so many stories to tell about it. I don't know if it's like a Krypton which has survived, or if it's the Krypton before it blew up, but Byrne and Mignola, so it will be good. Okay, I told you that I got a few Thunderbolts. Here are another two by Jeff Parker, who I enjoy normally. He's a very capable writer. So, 2 Thunderbolt books. Next up, another Superman, Up and Away by Kurt Busiek and Jeff Jones. It's collecting... What is it collecting? Action Comics 837 to 840, and Superman 650 to 653. So it's probably just one chunk of Superman stories, and I really enjoy Superman. I really like him. I wish I could enjoy the Rebirth Superman more, but I'm not a fan. I know everyone is, so I won't say anything negative about it, but I don't enjoy it too much. This is by Kurt Busiek, Fabian Nicieza, and Walt Simonson. Redemption, Superman in this more angelic Christian vibe, and I mean, he's a god of the sun, so there is some religious undertones to Superman always wear, and this is exploring this those undertones a bit more. Here I have 2 Watchmen books, before Watchmen books, Night Owl, Dr. Manhattan, Minuteman, and Six Spectre. This is only based on the creators, which are really nice. Darwin Cook and Amanda Conner, and Straczynski, and then Huge, Andy Kubert, Joe Kubert, Bill Sienkiewicz, and Eduardo Risso. I mean, solely based on the creators, those will be nice books. And I know a lot of people were like, "Whoa, it's not okay that DC is putting those out." Well, they own it, so it's absolutely okay. And come on, this is so long ago. Watchmen is so long ago, and nobody will. It won't destroy anything that Watchmen is great for. So who cares in the end, really? I mean, even famous novels, even Goethe has a Faust too. So nobody really cares. Don't make too much of a fuss about it. I know that Alan Moore does, but I don't care. Reich, another Valiant Masters edition. So yeah, Reich is really cool, and I actually never read the original run, so I'm really curious about it. It's by David Michelini and Joe St. Pierre, and it's collecting the first 8 issues of the 90s run of Ray. This is a big book. I got it for really cheap because it has some dinks, but it's not really serious stuff. It's still okay. And I got it for it was an Amazon warehouse find, I think 20 euros or so. And look at it, it's a beautiful book. I have to say, I wanted to enjoy it more than I did. The complete Kripax, Dracula, Frankenstein, and Other Horror Stories by Guido Kripax, and yeah, it's you might have heard of Kripax because his most famous heroine, female hero, is Valentina, who is sassy, cool, sexy adventure girl from the 60s, and she is also part of this collection. So those are basically horror adventure comics, really nicely drawn, and here is Valentina, the beautiful adventurer. But well, the stories are really all over the place, and like I said, I really tried to enjoy it more than I did. I read like about half of the book, waiting for me to get into the groove, but I didn't get into the groove. So I kept on going, just more focused on the art and looking at the pictures. And the pictures are very pretty. And it's absolutely worth it for the art alone. But if you're not into like those psychedelic groovy things from the 60s, I guess it won't work as well as a story as it does solely based on the art. Yeah, so it's a nice book, but I won't be back for another volume. This is Mesolith. It was released in the US by Boom Comics. It's by Ben Hegarty and Adam Brockbank. You won't know them, I didn't. They are not comic guys, I think. They worked as production designers and as theater people. So normally those kind of books are not very good because they don't really know how to work the medium. But I was surprised how much I like this one. It's I will show a little bit of the art, which is pretty spectacular. A bit too pretty, maybe, for my taste. I have to be careful not to spoil anything for you here. So yeah, like I said, it's a bit too, maybe it's too close to illustration, and yeah, but in another, it's also European, you know, European comics are drawn in pencil in a different way, so it looks a bit conservative, let's put it that way. But the stories are really nice. It's a collection of short stories where you experience this world through the eyes and through the feelings and thoughts of its protagonists. And I think this is fantastic if you can get into a prehistoric time, not from the outside, and you know, look at those primitive people doing stupid shit, but like become one of them and experience the world in the way they do. So this is very successful in achieving that, and I can very much recommend it. It will be part of my best comics of the year video. Another Steve Ditko book. So I'm on a Steve Ditko thing right now, where I really try to get more stuff by him. I don't really I quite somehow gave up on reading those things, but I really like to pick them out of the shelf and just look at them, and sometimes they're just so inspiring through their images alone and through the art alone. And it's also, the restoration is pretty nice. It's very decent. It's by Fantagraphics, so of course they do a bang job on those archival editions. And yeah, I mean, it's already volume 5 of the Steve Ditko archives. I have a lot more to go. Yeah, I'm happy about this. More Thunderbolts. I got those from eBay. It's Kurt Busiek's run. 5 books. I think €5 each. Or 6. Well, yeah, not much to say about it. I read some Thunderbolts, and this is me reading like one trade and like, oh, so this is really nice. Let's buy another 10, which are then just in my shelves waiting for me to get to them. Unwritten volume 1. So I'm quite a Mike Carey fan because I really loved his Lucifer. And I've always waited for the Unwritten to be collected anew because I didn't want to get the old trades. I was sure this will get a new collected treatment, and I'm very happy that it's in hardcover and it's oversized. It's still wrapped. I haven't checked it out yet, but I'm really eager to. Conan, the Omnibus, Volume 1. This is collecting the modern run by Kurt Busiek and Carrie Nord from Dark Horse Comics. You probably heard about it. There is a big hardcover collection called the Colossal Conan Conan out there, but it's very much out there because it's out of print, so it's really hard to get, and it's very wieldy. So it's if you know the Sin City hardcover, you know what I'm talking about. It's almost impossible to lift. And as much as I dig Cary North's art, I'm totally fine with those softcover editions. And I think you get a great value for your dollar here. It's $25 for, I think, 20 issues or 15. Let me check. Yeah, it's 20 issues, so really great value. It's a little bit over $1 for an issue of Conan Mayhem. So if you did Conan, this is a good place to start. Hawkeye Volume 2 of the Fraction Aja run. I enjoyed the first volume. I wasn't blown away by it. I thought it was smart. Smart enough that I wanted to finish it someday, and I got this from the cheap comics sale for under 20 euros, so I'm fine with having it completed now. Secret Invasion, also on sale, Brian Michael Bendis and Lenny Liu. It's one of those big crossover things, crossover things Marvel is doing for quite some time now, but this was built up for a very long time, if I remember it well. I remember it even when I was like I don't know, 13 or 14, when the Fantastic Four were I think it was Lyja, or what was her name? I don't know. I might be wrong about this, but sometimes someone was revealed as being a Skrull all the time. So this is like a thing, a topos, which is very old, and they finally picked it up and made it into a big event. I don't know much about it, only that the Skrulls are conquering Earth, and our heroes. You know, if you look at those Marvel covers from back then, you get really nostalgic. If you look at those guys, it's X-Men and Avengers and Fantastic Four, and all working together to solve a problem. This is a long time ago that this happened. Yeah, Captain Marvel is not that important. She's here in the corner. She's not in the middle of things. It's Phoenix who's in the middle of things. So, you know, Marvel changed a lot over the past few years, and a lot of people are frustrated with it. I'm too, but I mean, I'm not crying for better times, because I think DC is doing a great job of feeding us nice superhero stories. I don't need two publishers at the same time doing that. But you can see here, this feels like the Marvel Universe, and it's something which is kind of lost right now, this feeling. Alright, I don't normally buy Silver Age Omnibus books, but this is by Steve Ditko, and I told you I'm on a Steve Ditko, how do you say? I'm addicted to Steve Ditko right now. And I still haven't told you why, but I will do a video about Steve Ditko. And this is his Spider-Man run. The first out of 3 volumes which are out right now. And I think he drew Spider-Man up to, I think the first 30-40 issues, if I'm not wrong. So this should be like the complete, I hope, Ditko run on Spider-Man. And yeah, that's why I bought it. And it was also cheap. The Invincible Iron Man by Matt Fraction and Salvador La Rocca. I have the first volume, and this was very cheap, and now I have completed the run. No, I haven't completed the run because the run was never completed in this form, but I have completed the hardcovers that are available. War of Kings, as you know, they have released, or don't know, I don't know, an omnibus edition of this big event with the X-Men and the Inhumans in space. I mean, the art is kind of, I don't know, not my favorite kind of art. It's kind of messy and very by the numbers stuff. But yeah, I didn't want to buy the big omnibus, so I got the hardcover. It's by Brubaker, I think, so it can't be that bad. Funny they don't write the authors on the cover. This is really rare. There is no introduction. Well, it's not the best. It's not the nicest book. Looking at this, I mean, why wouldn't you write the creators on the cover, or even in the first page introduction? Well, whatever. This is the final hardcover that I need to complete Hickman's run on the Avengers. And as soon as I finished buying those hardcovers, they announced the omnibus, of course. But I'm totally fine with having the hardcovers. I really enjoy the slimmer hardcover editions much more than the omnibus editions, which I never take out of the shelf because they're just too big. Same with the absolute editions, but I couldn't resist, and I got this for a good price. Yeah, The Court of Owls by Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo. It was a long time coming. I mean, I'm not the biggest Snyder fan up until now, but I've seen videos of this absolute, and I was like, yeah, I will give it a shot. I don't know if I want to continue buying the Snyder Batman in this format, but to have one volume of it, and I have to admit, Greg Capullo is a great artist. It's not necessarily my kind of art, but I can absolutely recognize that he's a great draftsman. So yeah, I haven't read it yet, but will soon. And I have to say, those absolutes are damn pretty. It's just true. This is another Ditko book, Ditko Unleashed. It's about an exhibition which took place in Spain, and you know, it's a nice art book, coffee table art book, where you get a lot of original pages reproduced, and you get some facts, some annotations, and it's really beautiful. I love those books, and I got it for a very good price. It was on sale at my local comic shop here in Berlin at Black Dog Comics. Same here, irredeemable. I got this for 10 euros. The first hardcover. It was recommended in some video, I forgot where. And you know, I'm normally not the biggest Mark Waid fan. I think he's good, but like even Grant Morrison gives this book a blurb, so should be fine. And the art is standard fare, I would say. But yeah, I think here it's all about the story. Alright, Deadly Class. I collected Deadly Class. I think I have all the issues in here, which are the first 14, I think, in single issues. and I read the first 9 or so, and I really, really dig them. I think it was my favorite Rick Remender book, and I also love the art and everything about it, and I'm really happy to have this in hardcover format. And 2 more books, then we're done. Absolute edition of Green Lantern and Green Arrow by Dennis O'Neil and Neil Adams. So I read a few Dennis O'Neil or Danny O'Neil stories in those Batman hardcover collections, and I dig them. And yeah, so I bought this not because of the stories. Of course, it's also Neil Adams art in an oversized edition. But I always need the story to be cool too. So I haven't checked it out yet. And I guess, of course, it's 70s. So there will be some cringe-worthy moments. But I think it's also a good era for comics, which is very much under the radar. Comics were much more political, controversial, and yeah, exciting in a way, because they were breaking new grounds. And yeah, this looks really nice. Obviously, it's slightly recolored, I think. But I think it looks fine. It looks fine, and I really like the matte paper. And it was also a good price. It was under 50 euros. And it's one of those legendary runs, so an absolute edition is okay. It's okay to buy an absolute edition for this legendary and short and definitive run. This one I got because it went out of print, and before it went completely out of print, I got it for a super good price. I'm really happy about it. I read The Long Halloween recently for the first time, and I thought the story was nice, but the art was fantastic by Tim Sale. So, and yeah, I have the Long Halloween also in an absolute edition, and it makes total sense. This looks gorgeous in absolute format. So yeah, I'm only missing now the last volume. I think it's Haunted Night, and then I will have the whole loop sale run in absolutes. And that was it. Thanks for watching, guys, and hopefully I will be back with more in the next few days, because I want to do my top books of 2016. Until then, have a good life. Bye bye.